Good evening, sir. Hello.
Hi, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, sorry, I had to attend to one or two things before coming online. I'm so sorry about that, sir.
No problem.
Yes, sir. Good to hear from you again. I hope everything is going on smoothly as
Yes, it's
expected.
going on so much.
And I hope you guys are staying safe because as this federal government they are doing their own thing now. They are doing their own thing.
That's it, too.
Sir, you are in US, sir. How is COVID over there, sir?
Well, at the moment, it has, it has played to say the least. We had a very serious spike before. It was even more than people are saying. I mean, the government is even letting on, and all the
Okay.
drama and everything that surrounds it. You go to the hospital, you have a fever, they will say it's COVID. You say you want to do a test, without testing you, they will say you are positive, and all of those things were here too. But right now, what we fear the most right now is that there's rioting, especially in our city, Chicago. There's
Okay.
rioting going on, and well, of course, the
And
rioters
looting.
they're not observing social distancing. They are not. So we are afraid that in the next week or two, after all this rioting dies down, everything, we'll see a spike. But we hope not. We hope not. And the
Amen. Oh.
government is thinking of opening up the city again. So once they open up the city again, whether we're going to see a spike or not, we don't know. But in other cities that they've opened up, that people fast shit social distancing, went to the beach and everything, they saw a spike, they saw an increase. So it's still here and it's still living with us.
Ah, all is well. I pray that we will overcome this COVID of 18. And
Amen.
that thing is I don't know. I don't even know the is indeed serious. But it's as if it's like people want to shun COVID these days and get going with their lives because
Yes.
we can't afford to keep everybody at home and do all sort of things.
At all. At all. This is not normal.
That thing is serious. One of a friend to my friend died of it of COVID in
Yeah.
UK.
Right. I had a friend here too, or the husband of a friend that died, and a couple of my friends got it. In fact, one of them doesn't know how he got it. The other one was a cab driver, so was an Uber
Wow,
driver, so definitely.
wow, it's that serious. Well,
But what we are sure is that there's a conspiracy behind this thing, and it's of global proportion, and it's crazy. It's
mm,
crazy.
all is well, sir. So we just pray that God will take perfect control. Anyways, yeah,
Definitely, amen.
take perfect control. All right, sir. So okay, let's wait maybe 2 or 3 minutes for other people to join.
Sure.
And good evening, sister. How you doing?
Fine.
Uh,
Good evening, sir.
hey, boss. Well done. No,
Yeah,
I hope everything they enjoy yourself. How will they
I
keep?
disturbed you today, Abi.
What do you
Fine,
say?
boss. I disturbed you today, Abi. I disturbed you today, Abi.
How?
On the group now. The question I was asking.
No, now. No, not at all. I was actually, as in, I was just laughing because many people actually made the same mistake. They made the same mistake in terms of uploading it from directly
Hello.
from the zip file, which is never going to work. Things
Okay,
like
sir.
that. No, you didn't disturb. How would you disturb? I've been responding to users, students chats since morning. In fact, I've been replying their chats since morning and it has been going on smoothly. So we want to try as much as possible to engage them one-on-one so that it will be very, very easy for them to come on board. It's obvious that many of us we're not only the same timeline, and we can't learn at the same pace. We can't learn at the same pace. Yeah, obviously, we need to get things up and running. Get things up and running individually. So I will try as much as possible to talk to people one by one. But we really have to know the kind of the people that are with us in terms of some people, they just register, they just want to know what is going on, and eventually, so we need to know the kind of the people that are with us, and from there we kick off. Okay, I think we are good to go now. So I'm going to start the meeting now. Let me share my screen. Oh, sorry. So, boss, over to you. So you update them on the group so that they can come online and all that. Mr. Kenny. So I'm going to share my screen now. Okay. Today we're going to build a very robust application. Anyways, we're going to build a very robust application called Address Book. Actually, we just tagged it Address Book. We can actually tailor it to many other things like form submission and all that. We can build. You can come up with anything regarding this project. But basically, I want this to be like a template for other things we want to do. So I'm going to introduce many other features like database, which I may not explain in details, but of course I would try as much as possible to explain, because we have a section for database, a whole week for database, in fact 2 weeks for database, because database is very, very robust. And once you're able to get a database structure, you can work perfectly on any database you have out there, like Oracle, like MySQL, like Microsoft SQL Server, SQLite, any database you'll be able to work perfectly on it. So we're going to be introducing database. Then I'm going to try as much as possible to play around many things that we've done in the past. Then by God's grace, God helping me, I should be able to upload, unlock the remaining video for the week, so that for week 2, so that you will be able to practice and do that. Because starting from next week, in fact, you won't be able to download until you pass the exam or quiz. You won't be able to download the videos, and you won't be able to do anything until you have to move from one stage to the other, which is critical. Okay. And I'm going to create a new project now. As usual, I'm going to click create a new project, and my projects will come up. Then I need to run, let me on my Microsoft Edge, so that Microsoft will do the needful. Okay. All right, I'm going to create, let's do that. Okay, so like I said, always, we're going to stick to ASP.NET Core Web Application, probably by week 4. Yeah, week 4, by week 4. But if I want to introduce, I don't want to introduce it now, because the learning curve for this is a little bit challenging, and it's not that straightforward, unlike the learning curve for, and this Blazor, the learning curve for Blazor ASP.NET Core Web Application is a little bit intimidating. So if you don't have good knowledge of C# and how to manipulate things, you won't be able to work effectively with all of this. And even up to now, I still find it difficult to work with Blazor and part of ASP.NET Core web application. Because at times to just generate one stupid error that you won't be able to fix it. You might need to ask administrator from Microsoft to help you out with that kind of thing. So, you know, they introduced it about 3 or 4 years ago. So it's not that stable as that of ASP.NET web application. It's not that stable. Still, they're still working on it and all that. But it's the feature of ASP.NET web application. So I'm going to select the ASP.NET web application this time around, and I'll click next. This time we want to build address book. I've never done it before, but I think we can do something related. I just thought of it that should we develop a complete Facebook and all that? But if you want to develop Facebook now, it's going to take, I mean, you can get lost in terms of you ask a series of questions, which to be as if we are doing nonsense. So, but if you are able to master this, we can move to Facebook and all that, and we are good to go. Please note that you can develop any application with ASP.NET web application. The only constraint here is that you can only host ASP.NET web application.NET framework on Windows platform. So you need to search for a service provider, I mean hosting company that accepts Windows application, and of course there are plenty of them out there, even GoDaddy and many of them like that. So as usual, let's use our location so that to store here, and it's going to be address book. I'm going to click create, and this will create the address book for me. Now, basically, what I want to do is that I want this address book to be exactly like that of our phone. So we're going to gather information, and we'll get user information and store it into the database. Of course, we can use Excel format, Excel to store this, but I'm not going to use Excel now because there are quite a number of configuration we need to do to get that up and running. So I don't want to, of course, I will show you how to do that much later. And number, I don't do authentication here. I will talk about authentication probably by week 4, where you need to send, you need to register user and do all sort of things like that. So I will disconnect this, configure for HTTPS. I don't need that for now. I'm going to create the application. Let's wait for this guy to come on. It's going to take a while. I hope you've been able to download yesterday's project. I deliberately edited our conversation. I had to remove it because I want it to be personal. You understand? So I didn't add it to the group, I mean to the video. I mean the one we're talking about, how we can monitor, how we can create the app and make money from it, and things like that. So I had to remove that. But of course, you get the idea. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, now that we have this, I'll get rid of this book, address book, the overview of ASP.NET application. I'm going to talk about this our default page. But before I talk about default page, I think I've mentioned this before. I want to talk about site.master. Now, in programming, there's what we call master page, and there is what we call child page. I've already explained this in one of the videos posted online. So suppose you want to build an application that will have about 10 or 15 or 20 pages. You know, and you want to, there's a mistake. Let's say, for instance, this page now, title of the page, and let's say I wanted to write address, and I mistakenly omit K, or just book like this. And by default, I have to copy all of this, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. Like this, this one is general to the entire all the pages. So in other words, let's say I have 20 pages, and I made the mistake in writing something like this, book instead of double O. That means I have to go through all the pages and correct it like this. Sorry. All the pages, it will waste a lot of time. That is why
address, not E, address A.
Can you imagine? Yeah. So suppose I have done something of this nature, like I've made the mistake by adding address. This is address now. And I've been able to duplicate it in about 15 or 20 or even 50 pages. That means I have to go through it one after the other to correct it. Hence, master page was born. So master page basically is about ensuring that any project, any content that you feel that to be constant throughout the page, throughout the entire page, like your logo, like your menu and all that, like your footer, like this one now, footer, like copyright 2019 and all that. Anything that you think it will not change, and it will repeat in about 2 or 3 places, it is by far better to place them under site's master page, so that every other thing will inherit from master page. Now, for you to create master page, it's relatively simple. All you need to do is just to right click on address book and go to add, and you click new. Here, you can add a bunch of components or tools, very many components or tools that you can use with your application. You can add SQL Server, you can add storm item, you can add data, you can add code like class, you can add many things. So, but for this purpose, I'm going to add master page. So I'm going to search for master page. You can search from here, but I like it, web form master page. When you select this master page, notice that the extension is actually master. So with this extension, you know that this master page can actually house other pages. So I can call it, I'm just showing this as an example. So make sure you go through the courses and learn how to create master page and all that. So I'll call this sample master page. And I'm going to click OK. So it automatically generates sample master page for me. Now, with this master page, this is the head. Of course, you can create it this way as well. But to every master page, there must or there should be the head placeholder.
Like my colleagues also mentioned, there is no one size fits.
There should be a placeholder. So with this placeholder, you can actually reference a script inside it. For instance, I want a script to be, let me create a child page for this sample master. So I'm going to right click and create it. Not this time, I don't have to create a web form. I'll create a web form with master page. So if I click this, I will call this sample child. This is just by the way anyway. I just want you to understand some of these things. Sample child. Oops. So when I click it, it tells me, hey, which master page do you want to use? Don't forget I have this, I have this, I have this. These two were created for me by Microsoft, but this is my home. I will select my home. Usually I used to delete theirs. And now, anytime you specify something inside this place, it will only appear, it will, like the head, it will only be used for this page and not for every other page. It's only particular to this page. Now, whatever you put here inside this page, let me explain better now so that you get it. Now, what they're trying to say with master page is that this page, this placeholder is the same thing as this sample child. So everything you put here, this is my sample site. Everything you put here will be copied programmatically here. It will copy programmatically and paste it here at runtime automatically. So you don't have to put anything here. So once you leave it like this, everything you put under, as long as you name it child, as long as this simple child is the master page is referenced here, it will be automatically be placed here. So that is the beauty of master and child page. Okay, I'm going to close this because I'm just trying to explain one or two things with a master page. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is with this master page, I want the application name to be address book. And I want the, this one will be form filling or anything, a form, let's call it form. This one will be view details or view address, let's call it view address. Then this one will be contact us, something like that, something like that nature. So this one will be our address book, because this will be constant all through. And this is how to show 2019 copyright. This is copyright symbol, then 2019 to show 2020 rather, then address book, the name of our app. Okay, let's go back to the landing page. I'm going to get rid of this jumbo Jumbotron. I don't need Jumbotron for now. So the next thing I'm going to do is is my internet stable? Can you hear me?
Yes. But it's fluctuating
okay.
a little bit.
Okay. Please let me know if it's from 20 so that I can change it. All right. So the next thing is I'm going to remove this guy. I only need, this has been partitioned to 3 for me, but I only need 2. I need 2 partitioning and not 3. So I'm going to increase this to 6 and this one to 6. Of course, if I like, I can make it 4 or 3. I just want it to be 6. And I'm going to get rid of this. I don't need it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I want to import image to this place. To do that, I don't want my image to be flying around. I want everything to be consistent, be well organized. To do that, I'm going to create a new page, a new folder. I'll go to add new folder. I'll call this images. So all images will be stored here. Now, I need to hop over to my browser and click on this tab. I want to look for address book, images.com, images.google.com, and I will search for address book. And like I said the other time, it is very, very important you filter it. And if you don't want to filter it, okay. One other thing is that I can go to Pexel. Now you can use this Pexel.com. They have open license, free stock photos and videos where you can use for free. You don't have to pay anybody, just use. So I will search for address book here. It's free. You download and do all sort of things with it. So I think I love this. I can select it and download it. So if you're a graphic designer and all that, this is the right website for you. Pexel or Pixabay. There are quite a number of them. So I'm going to download this guy. Said that I should donate. I don't have money to donate now. And let's wait for this guy to download. Inside. I want to download it inside a first document, and there we go. So I will open it like this, and I'm going to rename it as address.image. Then the next thing, oh, someone is raising up his hand. Okay. Go on and speak, please.
All what you are saying is just showing the other what
I didn't get you.
The web page is not showing everything.
It's not showing everything.
You are explaining some things that you are going to click. It's not showing. It's not actually showing on my screen, but it just changed now. That's why I wanted to.
Okay, but it's okay now, right?
Yeah, I'm seeing it now.
Okay, all right. Okay, ma'am. All right, so address, I'll click copy because I want to drag this to my projects. I'll go to projects and I will paste it. But if sometimes you want to paste directly, this paste may not show. So just deselect it, select it back, right click and click paste. Now that I have it like this, I can easily drag it to the page, and automatically to Visual Studio will automatically write the code for me. Oh, this is what you want to do, so that I won't make any mistake by maybe I want to type it, and instead of A, I wrote E, things like that. But there's a way around it anyway. There are other things you can do to make it more beautiful. Now, because we are using Bootstrap, I will encourage you to enroll for front end as well, so that you can download it. If you have not enrolled, you'll be able to download week 1 and week 2 of the front end, so that you learn more about Bootstraps and all that. Okay, so CSS. I want to add style sheet CSS to this image, so that the image will be able to fit very well. I'm going to use class this time around. Of course, I can use CSS, but I'm going to use class equals. I will make the image. There's CSS class called responsive in Bootstrap. I don't know why it's coming up. I don't know why this thing is not coming up, but it's supposed to come up. But if it's not coming up, that's its own cup of tea, because I know how to write it. Anyways, I will show you how to download and how to install it much later. Okay, now that I have this, let's test our app and see what's up. I'm going to click and build this app now, and let's wait for this guy to load on time. Excellent. So let's view it in browser. The first time to sometimes takes eternity. Okay, so this will automatically fit in. So I need to put maybe a break line here so that I will have, it won't be too it's too close to the top. Okay, to do that, I'll hop over to this place. There are two ways to do it. Is that I put break, I can easily put this, or I use CSS. But since I don't want to use CSS, I can easily use break line. So to break 2 times, to break to next line 2 times. So if I click on it now, to the 2 break line to break 1, 2, things like that. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to set up my address book. To do that, I will tell my user now, please add your address, things like that. Okay, so I'm going to clear off this template. Then I will, let's do it this way. Let's say name. Please, you can help me type all the column or fields that I need to add so that I won't forget anything and it won't be too rowdy. So someone should help me. Just type it to the chat box. I'll copy it. So with the name, I want to pick a text box and call that text box name text box. Say name. Then I want the CSS to be form control, form IP control. Now let's check this out. Let's see how if this CSS is actually working. All right, thank you, sir. I'll hop over to this. Excellent. You see now it's actually working. Okay. This is how you will know. Let's go for phone number. Let's say this is phone number. I'll call it phone number the text box. And I don't want to use this CSS so that you know that this thing is actually working. Then let's refresh. Okay, I need to build this application because this is a server-side test and can only be rendered through the server. Okay, as you can see now, this one is different from this one. So this one is well formatted, while this one is jagged somehow. Okay, so I'm going to apply the CSS to everything. Don't worry about this CSS everything. I will send everything to you. So this bootstrap of everything. So you will learn more about it. Then the next thing we're going to get from our user. I hope someone is helping me out. Okay. Chat room. How can I view chat room again now? Where's my chat room? Control-ish. Chat no they work go. Chat is not coming up.
You cannot see chat when you are sharing your screen.
Are you sure?
Yes,
I used to.
that's the normal procedure. You can't see anything
when I'm sharing my screen. But I used to read from it now.
Is what I
even yesterday.
Yes, sir. You've been reading for meetings previously.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
I've been reading from it now since. Or can someone just post now on this on it? Just say hi. Someone should just say hi.
I have posted something there. Can you see it?
It's not even showing alerts. But anyways, let's continue anyway. So
maybe you should click on the Zoom and you will see 3 columns from that Zoom, 3 columns. Then you click on it. It will bring charts. Maybe you've upgraded your Zoom.
Oh, okay. No, what will happen is I need to click participant before I can see chats. Oh, okay, I've seen it. Okay, name, address, date of birth. Okay, let's put date of birth here. Let's put date of birth. And let's add occupation. Okay, status and occupation. Let's add status. So status, male or female. We don't want, prefer not to say. So status here, I'm going to bring a combo box or a drop-down menu, which is this drop-down menu for status. I don't know what's happening with this. You know, why is this? I think I've overused this system. I hope the Zoom is not, okay, I think the Zoom is up and running. I don't know what is up. It has been doing like this since morning. Okay, so I'm going to copy this drop down box status this time around, because I don't want to, I know what I'm actually looking for. I'll call it status. I hope status is married, or is it gender? Status should be married.
It's for marriage.
Okay, status is so I'm going to list it like married,
single,
okay.
Divorce.
Divorce, and the last one
separated.
So that was different from divorce.
It's different though. It's different.
Oh, single mom. Single mother.
That one is. They're not divorced. Undecided.
No one wants to say that now. Sir, please remove the separated.
Okay, the same thing as divorce, right?
Yes. No. This is just, you can't put separated. We want to tell you that it's separated from not band.
Let's use the 3 and forget about separated.
Let's use that.
3.
All right, so we don't want to add widowed and all that. We don't want to add those ones. Okay, so the next one is gender. Let's add gender. We're going to use the same format as well. So we call this one gender. Gender. Of course, I will limit this one to 2, unlike people in America. If you don't put the 3rd one, they may sue you. Am I right, sir? Male, the female, things like that. Then the last but not the least, let's just add one more and we're good to go. Let me view the charts. Says I think we've done that. Occupation. Okay, let's add occupation and we're ready to go. Since occupation, we don't want it to be to be like a list. Then let's add it here. Occupation. Then this one is occupation. And excellent. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to format this one. I want to apply CSS to it as well, so that everything will look nice and smooth. Let me apply CSS to this as well. And that should be all. Okay, the last but not the least, we must add event trigger. And the event trigger will be button, of course. But this time around, I want to use link button. I don't want to use button. So I want you to see the difference between link button and button. So, okay, I think we've done, we've used link button before now, while we're developing our own calculator. So I'm going to write submit. And this one, I can easily style it like CSS equals btn hyphen. All this CSS file can be gotten from Bootstrap. CSS btn hyphen. Let's add sources, and then btn hyphen. I want the image to be the button to be a bit big. Then I'm going to write submit, and we're good to go. Now, the last but not the least is that I want to validate this before user can submit. I want to ensure that this can only accept image or something. To do that, I mean number. To do that, I will introduce what we call test mode equals this time I want number, just number, or we can make it phone. So this will only accept phone. Then for this date of birth, the test mode, this is not an ideal way of doing it anyway, but we're going to use it this way. Later, I will introduce you to Ajax component. With Ajax, you'll be able to integrate very nice. You'll be able to integrate very nice.
So network issue, sir.
Okay.
It's from your side, though. It's from your side.
We can't hear you, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Clearly, very clearly, sir.
Clearly.
Okay.
Maybe you should log in.
Okay. All right. So let's continue. This test mode for date of birth, I'm going to use date time or date. Let's just use dates, or let's stick to date time. No, date is better because it's date of birth. So we're going to stick to dates. The last but not the least, I think we are good to go. So, okay, now let's test our app and see how it will look on our page. So I'm going to refresh this page now. Excellent. So this one is working fine. This one is working fine. So if I type anything, it's not going to accept it. This one, I can easily select March 2011, and I click yes. So it will automatically select that. Our status will be this. Married status. Oh, this one, we have to change this one to gender. So this one will be gender, the occupation. Then we click submit. Excellent. All right, so let's go to the code behind. And this one is supposed to be sources, CSS. Okay, so let's go to the code behind and do something with this. To do that, I'm going to onClick. I'm sure you're familiar with onClick. So this will go to the C# aspect, which is the server side. So if user is sending something from here, this guy will copy everything user is sending up to this level and post it to the server. So server, we are using C# as our server side. C# will process it and return it. Now, when we process it, let's process this before we do something else. I'm going to say, okay, for string name now, if you want to pass it, you can say name, string name equals name.test and all that .test to pass it directly, and you're good to go. But after when we get to this place, I want user to be able to insert it to the database. I want to insert it to the database so that subsequently I can easily retrieve it. I can play around it, I can delete, I can send message, I can call, I can do all sort of things like that. To do that, this app is not, no authentication, nothing. So what I want to do basically is I want to add database to this app. And if you want to add database to your app, the best solution is to add database to this app_data. This folder was created when we were trying to download, when we created the project. So Microsoft team, they know that most applications will require database. So they've created app_data for us. Of course, you can put it anywhere you like, but preferably it should be under app_data. So I'm going to right click on under app_data. Now, there are several ways you can store your data. You can store it as Excel format. You can store it as text format. You can store it into the database. You can save it to your computer. You can do all sorts of things, anything you have to think of. But for this training, because very soon I want to introduce you to database. And database is very huge. So I need to introduce you to database so that you can start doing one or two things with it. So I'm going to click new items. This time, if you notice, because I clicked, I right click on app_data. This only limits the connection to database. Of course, if I like, I can install any other thing. So with this now, I can save inside my SQL Server database. It's shipped with Visual Studio. Unlike Visual Studio Code, where this will not be shipped with them. We need to install it separately. But with Visual Studio, everything has been embedded. So I'm going to select SQL Server. You can call it SQL Server. You can call it SQL, whichever name you want to call it. We understand. So I'm going to call this. You can name it anything. I'm going to call this address database and click add. Let's wait for this guy to configure it for us. It may take, because we need to add so many things. Excellent. So we now have our database being configured and being added. As it is now, we don't have anything inside the database. It's just like a blank database, just like Excel. Now, when you think of database, think of a normal Excel 2016. Database is more or less like Excel. The difference between database and Excel is that database is more secure. You know, when you have access, when you gain access to this Excel file, you can actually play around it. You can send it. People can easily copy it. People can tweak it. You can add your password and all that. It's exactly the same thing. But the beauty of database is that, and this is how our database will look like as well, just like this Excel format. But the beauty of database is that it's very secure, so nobody can just alter your information anyhow. You can multiple connection can be applied. You can play around many things. You can store data, retrieve data, do all sort of calculation. Whatever you can do with Excel, you can do much more with SQL Server database. In fact, far better than database. And you know, I know many of you may not be familiar with what we call Access database. This one, I know many of you may not know about it because we don't normally use it. It is also a database, but this one is more of a Windows database. But we're going to stick with this address database. Now, let's open this address database. Notice that we have it here, address database.mb. This is just like the Explorer, where you can explore what is inside database and all that. So just like we have it in Excel sheet, where you can name this one to be name, birth, and date of birth, occupation, and all that. It's exactly the same thing. So with database, when you click on this, we have no rule. The same way that I don't have any rule. The name of this sheet is sheet 1 of this current sheet. You can add as many as possible sheets, but here we have sheet 1. The same way, I want to create a new sheet. Let me call it sheet now, but it is called the ID name is table. So I'm going to create a new table, which is the same thing as this new table. They just call it sheet. So sheet, table, sheet, table. It's still the same thing. Okay. Then when you want to create your database, is with Visual Studio is extremely easy, super easy, because you can easily create the table all by yourself. You can either create it with scripts by writing it here or using a designer view. Now let's wait for this. I don't know, I might need to restart my system immediately after this class because it's damn slow. It's been on since morning anyway. So you can either create a database using this script or you create it using design view. Now, when I want to create my database, unlike Excel sheet, where they don't have primary key, of course, you can add primary key to it and all that. But database, it is very, very important to add primary key. Primary key is just like the identity, just like as you are now, your name, your phone number is unique to you, except otherwise, maybe a bridge or hacking and all that. That your phone number, you are the only one that is using it in the whole wide world. That is what we call primary key. It is your primary key. So if you are dealing with database as well, database must have a primary key, and you can name it anything as you like. So I'm going to leave this as identity. So I call it ID. Now, when I call it ID, one juicy thing about database, the same thing as Excel, you can increment your value like 1, 2, 3, 4. When you get to the second line, it will automatically increase. The same thing, you can do it here. To do that, I can now set I'll go to the script aspect. I will say identity equals bracket 1, 1. This function or this parameter will ensure that anytime a role is inserted, this ID will automatically increase by 1, so that there will never be identity with same values. I believe I'm communicating anyways. So the next thing I want to do, based on my address, based on this, I want to add name. So I'll call this one, let's call it full name. Ideally, always it is very, very important you separate surname and first name. But for the purpose of this training, I will leave it this way. You understand? Make sure you separate first name. Anything you are doing, separate first name and surname, so that you'll be able to address the person by his first name, not by surname, and all that. So I'm going to set data type, just like we set it in C#. Like this data type is an integer, decimal, and all that. It's exactly the same way with database. Just like with your Excel, if you're familiar with Excel, you see the same thing anyways. So I'm going to say, okay, this full name, because it's going to be ABC and all that, that this full name should accept string. But in database, like I said the other time, it's also a programming language. They call it Forth language anyways. So in database, there is what we call n-virtual. This n-virtual is the same thing as your normal string in C#. So this guy is telling you, okay, this n-virtual, how many characters do you want for this n-virtual? Of course, 50 might be too small because of some people, their name is Czechoslovakia, and especially people that are coming from Czech Republic, they usually have all these big names. So I'll make it 100 characters. Of course, if it's more than 100 characters, I know WAEC will reject you. So it shouldn't be more than this. Okay, the next thing is from our table, we have phone number. So with phone number, I'm going to say phone. One other thing, when you are naming your variable, don't put space. It's still the same principle. Phone number. This phone number, well, some people can make mistake to add. They might want to add. They may decide to add 2 phone numbers. So let's make it integer so that it won't break our code. So I'm going to set the length of the database to be 70. Of course, it can be more than that. So the next one is oh, okay, we didn't add email here. We're supposed to add email, date of birth. So let me add email here so that we can add it as well. Email will be nvoucher as well, which should be 100. So let's quickly go over to our system. Let's add email. It's very, very important. Call it email. Email and email. Okay, so here we call it email. The next one is date of birth.
You did not finish changing it.
We did not finish it, though.
You did not finish changing it.
Okay.
Which one? Okay, the test mode.
The phone test
oh,
mode.
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So the test mode, there's a test mode called email. So I'm going to select email so that this will ensure that the user type correct email. That is, the email must contain and dots. Okay, so that will ensure that the email is user input is actually an email, things like that. So we're going to do that. The next thing we're going to do is date of birth. Date of birth. Now, one juicy thing about database data type is that you have to be very careful the kind of data type you're using. For instance, let's say you want to calculate the amount of a particular the price of a particular product, and you're using nvoucher. It will be difficult for the database to sum the total. Let's say you want to sum all the products or profit together. It will be difficult for your database to sum it together because you are not using the right data type. Just the same way that you want to add string plus string. You want to sum string plus, you have to convert it to decimal or integer before you can sum it. So if you don't do that here too, it's going to give you error. So the same thing goes for date of birth. I'm not going to use nvoucher. This time I'll use date time. You know why? The reason is that if I use date time, let's say I want to search for students or people between the age of 15 and 20. If I use nvoucher here, I won't be able to, the query will generate error. But if it is date time, to understand that, oh, okay, let me help you to sort it for you. Let me sort it for you. So don't worry. Don't worry. I hope you have one cold pure water by your side so that if it's not clear, you can drink cold water. Don't worry. It's not that difficult. But like I said, rule number 1, when it comes to programming, anything you don't understand, just keep it. Go to another one, read it again, go to another one, come back to that one, and like that. So don't just say, compulsory, you must know it at the same time. But I believe we are still communicating anyway. So the next thing is, we call this status. So I'm going to add status. And this status, of course, it's going to be nvoucher because nothing to add, and it's just 50 characters. Then the next one is gender. I'm going to add gender, gender and nvoucher. Then the next thing I want to add is occupation. So occupation. We can't trust our user.
We have not corrected the gender.
Well, I'll do that when I get to, okay, let me quickly do that. Gender, okay. We need to change this to gender, okay. So the last but not the least is occupation. Of course, I'm going to give room for some people that they are prolific writer, and they can write anything. So I'm going to give room for them to write as many as possible. I can write every other thing. Having specify your column. Now, what we have here is the same thing in Excel format, where you had name, phone number, Excel, date of birth, gender. You have it in a column like this. That's exactly what we have here too. It's just that this one will formalize it and make it more robust. Now, what I'm going to do, I'll go back to the script value, the script aspect. Now, currently the name of my table is table. And I don't want to name it table. I want to name it something. So I want to give it a name that we can easily remember. So to do that, I will name this one address table. You can call it address table. You can call it anything, but I'll just call it address. And I'm going to update it. Once I click update, there's this script generate update script, preparing to update scripts. So it will automatically create the table for you, format everything. I said add none, create this table, supporting action. I say yes, I just update this table. I'm cool with it. So it will automatically update the table and tell you that update completed. Now that we have this, we are super ready to create our app. So you can either view it from Server Explorer from here. If it's not here, you go to view and go to Server Explorer. It will show here. So let me close it now. Go to view, Server Explorer to come back. Okay. So now that we are ready, it's not here now. I can right click and refresh this page so that my address is here. And if I expand, I will see all the columns. Now, my job now, my goal is to connect my server, my C# with this table or database. There are about 6 or 7 or more ways you can connect to database. You can connect through entity framework. Don't worry about the name. You will get it when you get to week 6. You can connect using dataset. I love dataset, and I'm going to introduce it to you. It's one of my favorite way of using database. In fact, as a matter of fact, most of my applications are database driven. I can tell you the truth is, if you can master database very well, forget about the rest. The rest is just like peanuts. Okay, now let's continue. So my job now is to connect my website, because as it is now, it's just line follow here. I need to connect to it, just like the same way you connect to, not the same way you open your Excel sheet. To do that, I'm going to go to this address book again and right click and go to add new item. So I'm looking for a connector that will connect to my database. And there are several ways you can connect. If you go to data now, you can connect through ADO.NET, you can connect through dataset, you can connect through entity framework, you can connect through link and SQL server, SQL classes, you can connect through XML file and more. But my favorite is datasets. I love this. It's very, very easy to connect using dataset and ADO.NET, and of course, entity framework. I'm going to teach you all the 3 ways of connecting to database, especially dataset and entity framework. We're going to be dealing with entity framework when we get to Razor Pages, the entity ASP.NET Core. So I'm going to call this guy, just give it any name you like. I'll call it address dataset. I'm going to click add. The reason why I love web form is because of the drag and drop aspect. So I can easily drag, it has been created for me now. I can easily drag my address and drop it here. Shikena. The thing don't connect like that. No button. Once I'm able to drag and drop, everything has been set for me. Although at times that may not work in terms of you might need to do special configuration and all that. I'll show you how to do that as well, how to do special configuration, how to connect to the database and store it inside the string. Now that I have it like this, let's wait for this guy. Maybe he's trying to connect and configure my server. Of course, my system I've been using it for some hours now, so I need to restart it anyways. So let's wait for this system to balance well. Any questions so far? Or there are plenty of questions for me?
Plenty questions, but I'm motivated.
Okay. Thank you. So okay, so I don't know why my system is dragging, but I believe it's because of many things. You know, I have to render, cut, edit, and that is crazily eating my RAM. It should be up now in a minute. Okay, pending the time, this thing, okay, I think it's coming up now. Pending the time, can you guys ask your question? Because this thing will end this class latest by 9:30, latest by 9:30. Can you ask your questions now while we set up this? Go on, no.
Hello, sir.
All right, go on.
Yes, sir. I'm getting to understand most of what you're teaching us. But
you are. I didn't get.
I'm getting to understand it.
Okay, you are getting to understand it. Okay.
Yeah, but it's just that you're teaching us a lot of things at the same time. So at least I have an idea of how it works. But
okay.
You know, a lot of things at the same time. Maybe with time, sir.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what? By the time you get to week 3 or week 4, by the time you get to week 4, all this thing will just be like peanuts. It's very, very easy. By week 4, week 5, you understand perfectly. This is why I want to introduce it to you now, is because, you know, in 2 weeks' time, we need to start planning our general class, you know, general projects. We will get the name. I don't know why this thing is very slow. We will need to get the name, the structure of the project and all that. So someone is raising up his hand. Go on.
Yes, sir. Well done, sir. Please, my own question is this. We start on the 25th, and I'm only allowed to download 4 video. So the remaining one, I was unable to download it, and I didn't see assignment the classwork there.
Which platform? Which course?
You know, I enrolled for the 3. So I have downloaded 4 video for the 3 courses.
It's supposed to be. Have you been able to download for Xamarin now? You
have that.
You are supposed to. You ought to have been able to download every videos in week 1. Then for this week 2 now, I've not been able to. I won't. As soon as I finish this class, I will do packaging for. Render this project. So by tomorrow morning, you have access to all week 2 classes. for.
And if not, teach us how to submit assignments.
Yes, I'll post that tomorrow as well. How to submit the assignment, because I want you to host it on your GitHub account and publish it, because that's is a very good way of building your own profile as well, just like building your own CV. So GitHub is more or less like a CV builder for developers. So we'll be using that as well, things like that. So, okay, I think this guy don't come back. Now, this is our address book. And I think, let me just shut down this this guy and restart it again. I think, let me close the program and restart not my system. I just want to refresh and, okay, so maybe that will solve the problem for me. I'll right click and select address book so that we launch the address book. Okay. Okay. All right. So, okay, I think it's better now. So the next thing I'm going to do, you notice that I just dragged from Server Explorer to this designer kits, and everything has been configured for me. So now, one thing I want you to observe is that the moment you drag from this Server Explorer, from the Server Explorer, you open the address book and the tables, and you drag it to this design view, automatically Visual Studio will do the connection for you automatically. You don't have to worry yourself. And how do you know that the connection has been done? When you scroll down, you go to what we call web.config. This one is web.configuration. This is how you configure your website in a way that it will connect to database. Okay, let me open. Okay, I've already opened it. There are quite a number of things here that I'll discuss later. This aspect, that drag and drop will automatically do the connection for you. You don't need to worry yourself about anything. This aspect talks about when we're trying to set up the app, the project. We chose target framework 4.7, runtime, pages, how it will work. This one handles, if you go to this browser now, you notice that there is no .aspx or .html and all that. So this guy will handle that for us. It will remove that dot so that people will not know the kind of programming language that we use to develop the application, and this DOM and all that. So there are many things you have to play around as far as this web.config is concerned. I just want to show you this connection string. So this connection string is, we didn't write this, but by default, because we've dragged from Server Explorer to this place, it automatically creates this for us. So we are good to go. We are ready to store information inside this database. Now, for me to store information inside this database is extremely easy, super easy. Now, what I need to do is, this address data set that I created, this one is here. The only thing I need to do, by default, there are over hundreds of code that has been written for me to use. Let me go to view code. You will see that there are over 1,700 lines of code generated for me for free. So I don't need to worry myself about this. But one bad thing about it is that by the time you go to Razor pages, you don't have privilege, you won't have access to all of this. So get ready for another series of coding. So for me to reference, this has been created like a class. This has been created like a class, and you see class. Let me go to design view. Don't save this. I don't want to save this. When I go to design view, view code, you know, there is a name, the class and all that. So I can reference it. By the time I open the week 2 class, you will be able to understand what I mean by reference, partial, public, and all that. Don't worry about that. So I'm just trying to prepare your mind so that by the time you are reading it, you say, oh, okay, this is what this guy is saying, you know, things like that. So this address book, I want to call this address book, just like we are referencing this using, okay? So I want to reference it because Microsoft, they've done a very good job by sending it to us. So to do that, I'm going to say, what's the name of this page? Address book. I mean, the name of our website is address book. So I'm going to say address book. There is what we call, because normally this is not how, I don't write code like this, but I just want to explain how it works. Normally, I used to put all these data sets inside a folder. So I can call that folder maybe model or data set and all that. So it will be very easy for me to access. But since it's under the main address book and this name called address book is here, so the only thing I need to do is just to call this guy out. And to call this guy, I will call it like address book data set dot, what's the name of my table? Address, and I will call it, I will give it a name. It is called object of an instance. Don't worry, you will get it. Let me call it my database address equals new address book. Let me explain this code. Now, with this address book, it's just like your socket in your room where you used to charge your phone and your smartphone. You know, that socket is like adapter. You know, there is this multiple sockets.
Multipurpose.
Like multipurpose, where you can plug in your charger and start charging. So that's socket or adapter that they have created for you. You know, they link it to the power, the NEPA, I mean power, so that by the time there is light in the house, you have access to that light from your sockets. It's exactly the same thing. So what I'm trying to say is, this is just like my multipurpose adapter that we connect whatever I want to do here with this data set. And this data set is already, it has been connected to my table, to my database. So once I declare it like this, I'm good to go. So what I want to do now is that I want to write something like this: my database address dot insert to my database. Notice that once I open the bracket and close the bracket, if you check this guy, you will see name, full name, phone number, email, database, status, gender, and occupation. Hey, this thing don't start again. No. Let me. I hope it's not this server as well that is causing. Anyway, I know the issue is just the what they call it, that's been on for over 12 hours. So it's still the same thing: full name, phone number, email, date of birth, status. So it will map whatever you are supplying with the database, so that by the time you press enter, it will just save it. So what I'm going to do is, full name will be name.test. Phone number will be phone number.test, just directly from our website and from the page. This one will be email.test, and this one will be date of birth. So date of birth will be, we have to convert that to date. To convert it to date, I'm going to use what we call date time. We call it selected date. Anything, you can call it anything. Selected date equals, I think date of birth, we call it date of birth there. Date of birth dot test. But of course, this is not the right way. It's going to generate error. So the next thing is to convert to date time. So that will convert this to date time. Okay. So selected date. So the selected date will be here. So it will generate error. Status is, do we call it status? What's the name of that thing? Sir? Let's quickly look for the name.
Gender, sir. Gender.
No, status will be status drop. Okay, drop down box. So this one will be so this one will be status dot test, and the last will be gender. Okay, this one will be gender drop down list dot test, and the last but not the least is occupation. Of course, occupation dot test. Excellent. Once you can do it like this, you are good to go. So we're going to give, that will be your assignment. You make it this to show alerts that, like just like the same way I did mine in when you want to view code and when you want to view videos that this thing has been unlocked. So you do that because I'm going to send you the code as well. So now that I've done this, the next thing I want to do is I want to show output that congratulations, thank you for registering with us, things like that. So I'll go to Toolbox, I'll select output, where's label, and off, and call it output. But you change it to show that page, alert page. So I would say this dot test equals congratulations. If I like, I can put GIF animation. Okay, maybe let's do something very nice. Let's do for GIF animation. GIF congratulations GIF. You should be able to see. I don't see anything here.
Network.
Is it the same over there? Because it's in the
network problems.
Can you hear me? Can you all hear me? I should change my phone, my stuff.
Yes, we can hear.
It's okay, sir. We can hear you.
Okay. I guess it's his own network. All right. So I was actually looking for a dancing image, GIF image, but you can put that as well. So to just say congratulations. Thank you for congratulations. Thank you for submitting your profile. Let's put it that way, something like that. So with this now when you submit, the ideal thing to do is to clear off, since you are using the same single page, or better still, okay, let's do it this way. When you submit, I want this guy to redirect to another page called success page. So when everything has been set up and you are ready to, you are through with it. So I want to create a new web form. I'll call it success page. Success, just success. Okay. So let me copy this success. And I will select sample. Is it sample? No, site, sorry. Site. So we now write, let's use H1 now to make it very, congratulations. Congratulations. Okay. Your response, thank you for submitting your profile. So the next line now, I will add, this time I will add hyperlink, like a link. I want to link back to where I am. I'll copy it. So this one will link me back to either submit new profile, things like that. And this one will be view all profile. Excellent. All right, so this one will link back to default page. So I want to navigate back to default page. Because of our time, I'm going to select, so this is how to navigate back to default page. So this one is just default to go back to the main page. So if it's for me to view the next page, when the list of the page, I'll click I will write navigation equals, let's create a new page called users or something like that, or profile. Let's call it profile. All right. So I'm going to create this page called profile. And to do that, I'll right click again and create the page, web form. I'll name it profile. I'll click OK, select this master page so that it will generate everything for me. And the next thing I'm going to do is for this profile page, I want to, okay, let's finish it before we go to this profile page. So this one is working very fine. The default.css, I'm going to copy this one, everything here, place it inside profile. And I don't need this again. I don't need this. I just want this one to display everyone that had registered on my page. So I want the width to occupy the entire width. So I will name this list of registered members, something like that. Okay, now for me to get the list of registered members, there are several ways you can get it. You can use what we call, there's under this web form, there's what we call data. This data can list many things for you. You can use data list to list all your students or list of registered members, just like this our list that will list everything like this for us. So you can use data grid view, you can use grid view, you can use list view, you can use repeater. But I'm going to use grid view, but I love using list view anyway. But let me use grid view for this course or for this project. I'm going to name this grid view profile. And I will specify the CSS to be table. Let's call it table, or let's just leave it this way. So from there, we'll find a way around it to understand how it works. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, or another way you can do it. Okay, one other thing you can do is that you can list all your, let me do it this way, then I'll populate it. Then I'll show you another way of getting things done. So I'm going to go back to the profile.asp and go back to the view source code. This time around, now that I have my address data set connected, the same way I reference it here, I'll reference the same way I reference it here. Let me copy it again to save time. I'll reference it here so that I can easily connect to it. How am I going to connect to it? I will say the name of this grid view. The name of this grid view dot data source. That data source, maybe someone is asking a question. Oh, okay. The network is fluctuating. I think it's from your hand. And what is GitHub? GitHub is like repository where you upload your files and you store them. Instead of without your computer, you can work anywhere, pull it down, pull your file, your projects, your products, your code down, use it code, then you pull it back up. It's just like your storage online storage. That's GitHub. So profile grid equals, so I want to get all the registered database, all the registered users in this database. So I'm going to call this adapter. I will now say get all data out for me. Don't worry, don't say, this thing is too, this thing is too hard though. Don't worry, you get it. It's super easy. So this grid view, now that this thing has been started here, I will now say, okay, bind it to this thing and show it for me. So this line will display it for us to see. This line will connect them together. We connect this grid view with this, and this line will bind it and we display it for us. So having said, having completed all the whole structure, I'll build my project and go back to design view and view in browser again. And let's see the outcome if we are able to come up with something reasonable. Okay, so I will name it Adesola Michael. Adesola Mike at gmail.com. Phone number 236288854, something like that. Then date of birth. I'm going to select any date so that everything will work. I'll press this. Is married and she's a female and she's also a student. I'll click submit. Oh, sorry, I did something here. I'm supposed to, when this has been added actually, but I need to redirect it to sources page. So to redirect it to sources page, I'm going to say response. After adding it to database, response.redirect to what's the name of that page? Profile. No, sorry, sources page. So I'm going to build it again. But before I open it up, let's go to our browser to database. This thing don't start again.
So we can't hear you, so the network issue.
Can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me?
Sir.
Oh, okay.
Can hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes,
I
sorry.
guess it's the network from your own end. Okay. So let's wait for this guy to build. Now, I want to show you that the one we've added is actually, it has been added to the database. So I just want to view the database for you guys to see. But my system is a little bit slow these days. I don't know. could it be because of this YouTube of a thing? Maybe I should close this YouTube. Let me close this YouTube so that it won't. It could be as a result of that because I'm doing multiple. Now, when I up over to this and show data, so I want to view the data inside. You see now, Adesola, Michael, and all that. So let's quickly add one more and view it before we call it a day. Oh, I guess okay, so I think this should be the last thing to do. So I'm going to right click and okay, since I've already built the project, let me build it one more time and go back to the browser. So our goal now is to find a way to beautify our website. Okay, so I'm going to write Kajola down C. The email should be downc@gmail.com. Oh wait, oh, and like that. This person is single and male and civil servants. So I'm going to click submit. Excellent. So thank you for submitting your profile. So we need to format this as well. Submit new for profile or view profile. So I'm going to click on view profile. Did you see now? Of course, we can play around this and format it and make it look very nice and all that. That's the work of front-end developer. So our own job is to make sure that everything is working fine. So the work of front-end developer is to, this color is bad, this color is this and that and that and that. I hope you've been able to gain something. Okay, you are free to ask plenty of questions and I'm ready to answer you. Go on, one by one. Over to you. Hello?
We can hear you, sir.
Are you saying?
I don't have any questions, sir.
Is it that straightforward?
It's straightforward, but it's just that it is cumbersome. So we just have to take time to understand it.
So by the time I believe by the time you
with practical, we can do it ourselves. Maybe when practice around this, we'll be able to get more of it.
So, but that means by the time you get what you're saying is by the time you get the video and of course the source code, you should be able to duplicate this. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, all right. I think I have to give you an assignment. What do you say?
That is when you know maybe we understand it or not.
Okay. So, Mr. Jide Alpha, any show for us?
That's loose.
Mr. Jide. Mr. Jide don't sleep. Ten never knock now. Sir, my Oga from US, Mr. Tunde Alpha, sir. I hope it's not magical.
Hello?
Hello, I can hear you.
Yeah, repeat, please.
Sir?
Repeat, sir.
I hope it's straightforward, sir.
It is, I'm catching on.
Oh, okay, awesome. So
Yeah.
By the time we get the video and all that, we should be able to get things up and running. Now, is it Mrs. or Mr. Femi Amos? I think you're joining us for the first time, right? Hello? Oh, okay. Maybe.
Sir.
Oh, okay. Welcome. Oh. I think you're joining us for the first time. Are you joining us for the first time?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Have you been able to get one or two things today?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, sir. So, I'm going to send the source code probably tonight. Yes, let me do it tonight so that I will concentrate on other thing. Then Mrs. Is it Mrs. now? Mrs. I guess it's Mrs. Tokpa Deni. Well done. No. Are you joining us for the first time? Oh, okay. Maybe we should wait for you anyway. So I'll send the source code and other things down this night so that you can check the pages and revert, because we are going to develop our project together. That project, we're going to develop it together. I will give everyone a section. One person, some people will handle the landing page, some will handle the front end, the back end, some will handle database, some will handle the algorithm, some will handle function, like that. So by the time about 10 or 11 of us are able to do one or two things on the platform within the space of 1 month, we should be able to come up with something very powerful. So the idea is that we will get a name. So maybe by next week or in 2 weeks' time, we'll get a name that will be so catchy for the project. So the idea of the project is that we want the app to be able to communicate with every person or everybody, as far as everybody in Nigeria. If you are if you want to learn Hausa, the app should be able to communicate in Hausa. Of course, every one of us will contribute that, this app, I want, can't we add these features to it? So we'll critique it together and we'll come up with a robust decision. Then we'll follow that up. So from there, we build the app and we'll monetize it. So I personally handle the marketing aspect in terms of course, I'll teach you how to do that, how to monetize it as well. So we monetize it. Then from there, any money that comes in, we get, all of us will get a cut from it, things like that. So I think we unveil that by fourth week, let's say fourth week. So but from there, we know how to go about it. Since we don't have any question now, I think it's time to call it a day. I hope you really enjoyed the class, and I think it's a bit straightforward.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. But it's tedious, right? Or is it that tedious?
No, it's not.
It's not that tedious. It's not that
That
tedious.
is not tedious.
Yeah, Professor.
It's very, very simple.
Oh, okay. So that's the beauty of it. So by the time you get the source code and all that, you'll be able to do one or two things with it. I'm sure of that. Okay, thank you so much, and God bless you.
Amen, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Good night.